have you join us. This is Michelle McCready. I'm the Chief of Public Policy at Child Care Aware of America. I'm joined here with our Director of Governmental Affairs, Jay Nichols, who you'll hear from in a minute. So we have a lot of ground to cover with you. For those that are on the East Coast, this is right about your lunch hour. For those on the West Coast, you may be having a cup of coffee, but we really appreciate you carving out time. It's going to be a wonderful Policy Institute and Day on the Hill, April 23rd through the 25th, so we look forward to seeing all of you. I did want to mention that you have a box that appears on the right hand of your screen. If you have questions at any point during today's webinar, please feel free to type in those questions. We're going to be checking that often and make sure that we can answer your questions. Also, we have our contact information on the first part of the screen. If you have follow-on questions, please make a note of both of our emails, and we'll ensure that we get back to you. So what we're going to do today is talk about, for those that have been on the Hill many times with Child Care Aware of America, you're very familiar with the process. However, there are some new things this year. So some of the stuff may be repetitive, but hang in there. I think this will be helpful for all. We're going to go over scheduling meetings, how to prepare, and when we're going to prepare for the meetings with congressional representatives and staff. We're going to talk about the families at our Policy Institute, and they're having a separate conference called the Family Advocacy Summit, what to expect around that. We're going to go into detail about the ask, what are we fighting for that day, and having some alignment in what the child care field wants from the Hill. We're going to talk a little bit about social media, Child Care Works, using that hashtag, raising visibility of both your local agencies, your state work, and also the national umbrella of Child Care Works. And then a new component this year, which we're really excited about, which is our rally on the Hill that's kicking off that morning. And we'll talk through what to expect around that. So these are the states that we have represented this year. You can see that some are in different colors, and we'll explain why that is. But we have, the great news about this is we have majority of the states coming and joining us and having meetings on the Hill. We're going to have over 200 attendees, more like 250. So if each of those attendees just does 2 Hill visits, which we know some of you really pack in the schedule even more than 2, sometimes 4, 5, 6. But even if each attendee just does 2, we're over 400 meetings for our Day on the Hill, which is really exciting. The states that are in red have parents and family advocates coming from those states. If you don't know, if you're a state in red and you don't know that you have a parent advocate coming, we do ask that you follow up. We're trying to coordinate all of the Hill visits with our parent advocates, and we want to make sure that they're plugged into either your Senate meetings, your representative meetings, or if you're unable to bring them, that we can schedule their appointments. We have a lot of staff and volunteers here that would like to accompany them on the Hill. So speaking of our family advocates, if you go to childcareworks.org, you can see a comprehensive list of all of our parent advocates. We're also early next week going to have, you can see their names and the link to their story and where they're from and some more background, which is really helpful. We have almost 80 individual scholarship family members coming. A lot of the family members from all over, some are child care providers and parents themselves. Some have stories that have unfortunate tragedies and even death that they've experienced with their own children because of the lack of health and safety and professional development in child care programs, and they're fighting for higher quality child care options. We have a lot of families that have challenges with affordability. The majority of this country where childcare, the cost of childcare is really out of reach for most families. That's not surprising. We also have a lot of parents and families that have challenges with accessing quality, affordable childcare for a variety of reasons. Maybe they're in a rural area and there's not options for them. They need non-traditional hours of care. They have a child with a particular need or special need where there's not a childcare program that could support that need. But there's a variety of stories that are coming, and we really hope that you will take the time to visit Childcare Works and read and learn about the parents that will be joining us. And then we always put this plug in, and I know that this group is wonderful at this. Because we have 80 families, some of them have been parent leaders with us for quite a while. This is our 9th year doing this. We have some parents that have come every single year since we started that will be returning. And then some are brand new, not only to this process, but to DC. Some are coming on a plane for the first time. So as the Childcare Aware of America family, CCR&R family, we just ask that you make them feel welcome. And especially those that have parents coming from their state, take them and grab them under your wing. So I'm going to turn it over to Jay to just do a quick update on the history of childcare, talk a little bit about the budget this year, and what we are fighting for on the day on the Hill.
Thanks, Michelle, and hello, everyone. Looking forward to seeing everybody in about a week and a half. Just want to take this opportunity. I think there's probably a decent number of you that I know many of you have done this before. You've visited with your members of Congress, but I think there may be maybe some of you who may not be that familiar with our federal history with regards to child care. So I'm going to spend a few moments on that, and then I will proceed with what we are asking Congress to do in 2017. So from in short, we've had for over 75 years, the federal government has been involved with child care in some capacity. As you will see, it began during World War II, where Congress, in an effort to assist families, particularly the mothers who had entered the workforce while many of the fathers were fighting overseas, they came up with a program called the Lanham Act that served over 500,000 children. This program actually sunsetted after the conclusion of World War II. And then about roughly 30 years after the Lanham Act, there was an actual comprehensive bill that was sponsored by Senator Walter Mondale and a former presidential candidate, and as well as Congressman Brad Damas, that actually passed, but unfortunately was vetoed by President Nixon. And then sometime it would be about 20 years or so, in 1991 is when, as many of you are aware, the CVG was officially authorized for the first time. And then in 1996, they decided to kind of expand that program by folding other child care related programs into the 1996 Welfare Reform Bill, which has now given CCDBG its structure that it has today. And obviously, to 2014, expanded it even further and enhanced it further. How is CCDBG funded? I think most folks are aware of it. It's basically, I think what is important that's relevant to our advocacy, especially when we meet with Congress, is the bottom part of the slide, discretionary versus mandatory. The money that we are going to be seeking, and we'll provide more detail on that shortly, but the money that we are going to be seeking, it deals with discretionary funding, because the federal budget, Congress has required anything that's under mandatory funding, and that includes some money for child care, as you'll see there, but that also includes Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. They are required by law to fund it unless there's legislation or rule changes that could prevent them from funding it. But the money that we're going to be seeking in the annual appropriations process is the discretionary money. And the last budget we had in FY16, it was funded roughly $2.8 billion. We are currently, the government is running, but has not finished its 2017 budget yet. We are hoping that it does by the end of this month, and we have been hearing from both sides of the aisle that they don't anticipate any problems, but hopefully they can get that done and get focused on this and get working on fiscal year 2018, because that's what we're going to be advocating for and for funding moving forward. And I also want to take this opportunity to kind of give how this is what you see here is how the budget is supposed to work. The president submits a budget request to Congress. This is usually about a week or so after a State of the Union address. And the House and Senate spend the spring and summer working on it, and usually by September 30th is the last day of the fiscal year, and then the new fiscal year begins the following day. So under a regular order, Congress is supposed to approve a new budget and get to the president for signature by October 1st. But that, I can tell all of you, that never happens. And so as you see at the bottom there, the straight arrow that we present under regular order, it's actually much more like this. And especially, this year, usually a president submits a budget, but then Congress takes much longer than they usually have to. And on average, what you're seeing here is based on 2016, the current state of the appropriations process. And then after the election, they decided to extend here. But the last time, what you see here is the last time the president signed an appropriations bill into law was actually under President Obama in late 2015, which was the fiscal year 2016 period. As we currently stand right now, we are operating under a continuing resolution until April 28th, which is the week that we're all going to be in town advocating, and that's the week Congress returns from recess. So as of right now, we anticipate that, are hoping that the budget will get done, possibly before everyone leaves town, but we'll keep you in the loop on that. So moving forward, what are we here to discuss, and what are we advocating for? Using this opportunity for a policy summit. And you can see right there are two major asks we have. One of them, of course, as always, is investment in CCDVG. The ask this year is we are seeking a $1.4 billion increase, and that's over fiscal year 2016 spending levels. Once again, in FY 2016, about $2.8 billion was appropriated in monies, and we are seeking roughly, the increase we are seeking is based off of that funding level, since we currently don't have a federal budget yet for FY 17. In addition to funding, of course, that money is to ensure that not only that it helps states with implementation needs, but also will ensure that children don't lose access to quality care. The second major ask we have, as you see there, it's called the Support the Promoting Affordable Child Care Act for Everyone, the PACE Act of 2017. That it would actually make, if it were passed into law, it would actually make the child dependent tax and care tax credit would make it fully refundable for families earning less than $120,000 a year. And that bill is sponsored by Senators Richard Burr of North Carolina and Angus King of Maine. They do have a couple other co-sponsors as well, and Dean Heller from Nevada, and actually, as of yesterday, Susan Collins of Maine is also going to sign as co-sponsor. This legislation is, as of now, there's only a Senate version. However, we have been told that Senators Burr and King have been speaking with members of the House, trying to bipartisan group in the House to try to get the House to move a replica of the Senate version, and that may happen this spring. So while the PACE Act is really an ask for our senators, we can also discuss it in the House as well, saying that there is work being done, and hopefully very soon the House version will be made available. And as as we're having a number of breakout sessions and discussions over our 3-day event, we're also going to provide you with information on current health and nutrition policy, disaster preparedness, as well as a recent bill that was introduced on family and medical leave. But the two main asks are right there at the top. It's funding for CVG, Head Start, as well as after-school programs, and as well as supporting the PACE Act. And once again, we're going to provide everyone with all the information that they need, all background information, talking points, so that you're going to be good to go for your meetings. So, just to kind of explain further how it is we're going to support you. The handful of bullets you see there are obviously, it's providing you with as much information and prep necessary to make sure you have a successful visit with your congressional delegations. But we're not just limited to providing you with just, providing you with an overview of the federal budget process, as well as, educating on cost of care and supporting families and how child care impacts the economy. But we're also going to provide you with other means of support, and that includes, we're going to have this throughout the, especially on Monday, the 24th, we're going to have what's called office hours, where it's either be myself or Michelle or a member of our policy department will be on hand to assist you with any information that you may need. We'll also have not only packets for everybody, but also if you have a question about disaster preparedness policy, we'll have that information at hand. If you have about nutrition or about paid or medical leave, we will have that information for you, or anything related to research, with our cost of care or state fact sheets. We will have somebody available to help you. We will also provide you with information on the background on your member of Congress, whether it be committees membership, or whether if there's a noted support, a history of child care policy that particular member may have had that may be helpful. We'll share that with you, and even the minor details, like a map of Capitol Hill, so you know where to go. But then we're also going to, and most importantly, we'll also provide you with our information on our rally on the Hill. And of course, what is the objective? The objective really, we have been doing this for quite some time. We are now, we're now in our 30th year, and we've learned that what's most important is that you have to remember this is your day. You're here to see your members, but we also want you to have fun. We don't, that's not, almost every congressional office is always happy to meet with their constituents, and they want to listen to you, and they want to hear your story and your background, and how child care impacts you and the work you do, as well as the families you help. Pardon me. So it's to have fun. It is obviously to continue to build on relationships and reconnect with old colleagues, and of course provide them with your story and information that you think would be helpful to whom you're meeting with, whether it be the member itself or his staff person, his or her staff person. Now, the staff person is very, very important, because they'll be in that meeting. He or she will be in that meeting whether the member's there or not, and the staffer is usually one of the more important people to speak with, because they're the ones that work on these issues every day, and obviously they're the ones that will have the ear of the senator or the Congress or the representative when it's time to move on child care work. But when you're in there, as we said, and again, we're going to have another prep session the day before Day on the Hill. That's where you'll have all your materials. Michelle and I will go further in depth. We'll show you how to do proper ways to conduct a meeting. We're going to give you all the background related to the new administration in Congress, and how it's now more than ever it is important to advocate for strong funding in child care, but as well as supporting low-income and working families in general. But you must, what's most important is when you meet with your delegation, is make sure you're clear on your asks and what you are asking them to support, and also try to be as concise as possible. You may have the opportunity to meet with somebody for a half hour, you may only get a couple minutes. It really depends on the member's schedule. the member or the staffer schedule, and that can change. I'm sure many of you can relate that sometimes you have to walk and talk. The member has to get from one meeting to another, and if so, just make sure, just rehearse, and we'll show you how before the 25th. Just rehearse your what you want to ask your delegation, and again, you guys, everyone will do just fine. We're going to look forward to it. It should be a great day. And the biggest part of the day is, of course, our rally on the Hill. And just so everyone is aware, it's going to kick off at 8:30 in the morning. It is within walking distance from the hotels. It's on the Senate side. It's about maybe 10 minutes by foot. If you prefer to take other means or even public transportation, then it'll be slightly quicker. But we're all going to lead. We're going to all, as a big group, head up to the Hill. It's going to feature, as a rally, it's going to feature multiple speakers, from advocates to parents to fellow advocates, other groups that you're aware of, such as the National Women's Law Center at 0 to 3. But we've also invited a large number of members of Congress. We have a lot of maybes, but this far out, and that, in fact, the Congress is in recess. They are back when you're all in town. We're hoping to share with you confirmation of a bipartisan group of members of the House and members of the Senate that will come and fire up the crowd for child care. This is to get you going. It'll last about an hour, and then off you go to your meetings. And if I think I forgot to mention it, but with regards to scheduling your meetings, if you need any assistance, please let us know. We have shared with you a spreadsheet where you can write in the date. You can write in the time and location of your meetings. We want to make this as easy as possible. But if you're having any trouble, please reach out to me or Michelle directly, and we'll be there to help you. Michelle, do you have anything you want to add more about the rally? Or?
Sure. So just to underline, Jay, what you've already said, this is going to be an awesome event. We have a lot of press that are interested and excited to come. We'll be sharing widely via social media using the hashtag ChildCareWorks, Facebook Living, so those that are back in your communities and hometowns can share and follow along as well. As you can see, the rally's from 8:30 and we're ending at 9:30 to get you all on the Hill. Be mindful of that when you're scheduling appointments. Try not to schedule them before 9:30 or 10 would be ideal. However, sometimes we know that doesn't work out with schedules, but even joining us for some of the rally would be great. We also have T-shirts that will have they're teal, they're gorgeous. They'll have the Child Care Works and the Child Care Work America logos on them. You can walk around the day on the Hill with your T-shirt. You can have it under your suit jacket. You can take it off when you're done with the rally, whatever you prefer. But those are going to be available both for you to wear, but also for you to give to the staffer that you're meeting with. So we'll have them available for you to pick up. I do want to make one note around where you can find all of these materials. This recording will be posted on the website, but it's going to be under usa.childcareaware.org/Day on the Hill, or DOTH. That's where you'll find all the one-pagers that Jay referenced, our agenda and brief, the appropriations ask, and things like in your participant packets, you'll have conservative versus liberal talking points, and many other resources that will be helpful. So we'll go there now, usa.childcareaware.org/Day on the Hill. And Jay's bringing it up. As always, we'll also have a Day on the Hill prep session. That's actually taking place at 5:45 to 7 p.m., where we'll go through all these materials, but then give you some time with your state partners and the parents to talk and plan out the day. Sometimes logistically, there's a lot of meetings, there's a lot happening. Don't forget to wear comfortable shoes, as you're going to be doing a lot of walking and standing at the rally and cheering. So maybe some water, some lozenges as well. But we're going to show you where this is located on our website. So in case you have any questions about the Day on the Hill, you can go here. All the one-pagers are posted here, and we're continuously posting more. The talking points for those who cannot lobby. You can still educate and advocate, and your talking points are located there. And just tips for a successful Hill meeting for those, especially for those that haven't been to the Day on the Hill. So I'm actually going to look now for any questions that you may have. Okay, we got one here. So great question. We asked, one of the questions was, what color are the t-shirts for those that want to coordinate, which is a great question. They're actually bright teal. So if you have bright teal shoes to match or anything like that, that would be great. We can send you a picture of them if you're interested. But again, for that Day on the Hill, if you want to wear your t-shirt all day under a blazer, if you want to wear it over, over your dress or whatever else you have on, or suit, we have them in every single size available to you. Or if you would like to just carry them around or not carry them at all, that's totally your preference. Great question about that. Okay. Okay, great. So yeah, I would encourage, one of the questions was around, specifically around the Child Care and Development Block Grant and funding. We have a one-pager on the Appropriations Ask. Again, just to reiterate, we are asking for $1.4 billion for FY18. And in the conservative messaging talking points, we've gotten the question a lot from Republicans on the Hill: how much does it cost to implement the Child Care and Development Block Grant? The answer to that is, just to implement it, it's around $719 million a year. We have that in the appropriations one-pager. However, that doesn't take into consideration the subsidies and slots that will be lost. So parents being able to still access affordable child care will be cut if not for the $1.4 billion. So we break that down really clearly.
And there's two other questions. One is, we got a question with regards to setting up your meetings. Again, please feel free to reach out to us if we can provide any assistance. But there was one question: if they have the option of waiting until you arrive in Washington to let us know your schedule. Yes, you can do that if you prefer. For those of you, it was a Google document we established that automatically saves whatever information you include. So you don't have to worry about any of that. And then we also have someone brought up the idea of, and we are actually going to cover this with regards to Head Start. I'm sure many of you have been hearing rumors that that there are efforts to possibly turn the Head Start program into a block grant to states as opposed to a federal-local partnership. We have heard those rumors too. I can tell you there is a lot of bipartisan resistance to that idea, and we will cover that in more detail. We've been working very closely with the National Head Start Association on this. But yes, we feel very strongly that Head Start should not be converted into a block grant, and we are going to cover all that, as well as the anticipated detailed budget request from President Trump that's coming out sometime next month. Again, we've heard a lot. We've heard rumors with certain programs, but we've also been given bipartisan assurances by people on Capitol Hill that they say that we shouldn't have to worry about many of these proposals possibly coming forward. But that was a very good point. Yes, we will definitely be be covering all that in the prep session the day before, the day of the Hill.
Yeah, and what we can do, and some of the frequently asked questions that we're getting from the Hill, such as, what do you think about the Trump proposal, or what about block granting Head Start as a way to reduce redundancy, those types of things, you may get them, especially from conservative offices. And so what we'll do is provide some talking points, as well as going through what Jay said, around how you can respond to those questions and why some of the proposals out there are not beneficial to kids. So one of the next questions is, from a new person to all of this, which is fantastic. We're so happy that you're joining us. So we are setting up all of the parents that do not have a CCR&R partner, and if you don't have one, you may not know if you do or do not, but don't worry, you're in good hands. We have scheduled all of your Hill meetings, if this person is from Florida, I believe that there is not CCR&R from Florida potentially, but we will make sure that you either will be with your CCR&R agency to go on the Hill, or you'll be with a staff member from Child Care Aware of America when you go to the Hill. So you'll be in good hands, and we'll prepare and be right alongside you when you're talking with your member of Congress.
And to repeat, we've just had a question about our Day in the Hill prep session during the summit. It will be on the 24th, that Monday, the day before Day in the Hill, 5:45. 5:45. It'll last about an hour and a half or so.
And also, just to show you on the website, for those that are interested, you can find everything about the Family Advocacy Summit if you go to childcareworks.org. And if you go to our homepage to find out about the Policy Institute and have the agenda there. We have it on our homepage. It's the second slide. Go to Learn More, and you can find everything, the program, and all the details around the Advocacy Summit, such as when these sessions are taking place. Jay talked about the policy office hours that we're going to host, and what we're calling a news cafe, and all the details that you need to know where to be when. One of the other questions was, can the links for the Google Doc to check appointments be sent out again? We absolutely will send those links out again. We thank you all so much for plugging in your appointments to let us know. We'll have all the materials ready for you, your participant packets. I do want to make a note about that. We'll have the federal materials ready for you along with your state fact sheets. However, if you have particular things from your state that you'd like to raise and bring up, please bring them with you. I think what's great about these meetings is, yes, we're all united in our ask and what we're doing. However, there's a lot of nuance that happens in the state, so bringing that to the attention of the policymaker is really helpful. Okay, and then one more question from a parent. We have a wonderful team at Child Care Works to support all the parents that are coming in. We're setting up all the Parents Hill meetings and coordinating with the CCR&Rs, as well as reaching out directly to you around expenses, and that we're covering them for your days with us. If you have questions about that, please reach out to Mia.Coward, last name Coward, at usa.childcareaware.org if you have specific questions about travel and logistics. That's for the parents.
And then there's a question, we have a question about scheduling an appointment with a member of Congress. Apparently, one representative said on their webpage that there must be done, notice must be given at least a month in advance. I can tell you that while it's always best to plan in advance. Members are, if they are available, if they are available, their office will work to try to get you in to see them. So I would still follow up with their scheduler and just say, sometimes they just do that as a formality, because I imagine some offices get a lot of meeting requests. And usually in many of the offices, especially on the outside, there's only one person that handles the schedule, and it can be pretty hectic for them. And I think that's just, I think it's really planning purposes on their end, but no, you can still absolutely try to pursue a meeting with your representative, and hopefully they'll be accommodating. Just checking to see if there's any more.
That's it. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Again, to the families that were on the call, do follow up with Mia or Chrissy. If you have questions on anything else related to the summit, I'm going to put Jay and my contact info up again so you can get in touch with us. But we're so excited to have you here. It's going to be the best summit yet. We have a lot of great things in store, and so let us know if you need anything. Have a great, wonderful weekend, everybody, holiday weekend, and take care. Goodbye.
Bye.